Got these babies nice and clean with that waxing grease remover. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So on today's episode, I picked up some new or some used F-sport wheels off a GS350. They're 19-inch wheels. I'm gonna clean them up today and ceramic coat them, so stay tuned. First thing I gotta do is clean off all the old brake dust and take off all these weights, and then get some brake parts cleaner to get off all the adhesive from the weights, and then clean these babies up to prep them for some ceramic coat. So we got the inside of this wheel pretty clean. I still have to take these weights off and then clean it with some brake parts cleaner, but just to look at some of the castings. So this is the front wheel, which is a 19x8, and it looks like it's made by Denso or something. There's a D here and then an INS logo, which I don't know what that means. That D looks like a Denso, but I'm not sure. It looks like another brand logo over here, which I can't really make out. But for sure, this doesn't say Toyota on it, like some of the other OEM wheels. This is definitely an OEM wheel just because I'm looking at the hub design. And then you got the offset, which is the front wheel, which is a 45 offset on here. 19x8 there, and then there's a date code right here, where this was the 9th month of 2016, which is odd because the rear wheel 2015. So for some reason, the front wheels were either replaced after the car was manufactured, or in addition, on the inside of the wheel, there is another manufacturer code. So this was made on the 20th day of the 9th month of 2016 right there, and then it's got a time stamp on it also. There's another stamping right there. This one looks like that's a print, and this one's actually etched into the metal. So as I'm looking around the rim of it, so I see this one, so it's got like a 644 time stamp right there. Then this one's got a 1926 timestamp, and that one's got a 1420 timestamp. So I'm wondering if each time this thing, part of the manufacturing process, it comes out of the oven or the cast or whatever, that they just stamp it just to make sure that there's a quality check. So this one is the rear wheel, so the inside of it's got very similar markings. This one's a 19x9 with a 60 offset. So this one's really far in. Most aftermarket wheels in this size are probably in the 40s for this car. If I end up putting it on there, it might need a spacer just to make it look flush. So this one is odd because this one's got a date code of 9 of 2014. And if you look at the outside here, so this was manufactured basically 2 years before that one. So I think this one was replaced after the fact. Both of the front ones have the same stampings on them. So I'm thinking that either something happened under warranty that they had to replace both front wheels on here, or it was in some kind of accident where they needed to replace both front wheels. But definitely, yeah, the date codes are way different on these two. And this one's also got a little quality check stamp there. And then it's got this very similar different time stamps throughout the casting process. So for the most part, all these wheels are pretty clean and in good condition for what they were. I mean, they were 5-year-old wheels. The only damage I really saw that was repaired was on this wheel right here. You can see the clear or the color is a little bit off. So this is actually, this lighter gray that you see here was a repaired spot. It looks like sprayed it. It looked good for a while, and it looks like it just started flaking, separating from the powder coat. So it is a shiny silver, but it just doesn't match exactly. And we go up to look at the rest of these wheels. The rest of them, there was no repairs that I could see. The only thing I found was this little, but this was, I knew this was there when the guy sold it to me because that was the only damage. But considering these are 19-inch wheels on a Lexus that's been driven for 5 years, these things are pretty damn clean. I mean, I couldn't have done better myself driving with these wheels for that long, so I'm surprised that someone else kept them pretty clean and didn't screw them up in the 5 years that they were on this car. So got all the inside of these barrels pretty cleaned up as far as the weights and the adhesive goes. you could start seeing all the little defects, and most of this stuff is just from when the tire mounter guys, they don't really pay attention, and they handle these things really badly when you get your tires changed. And you know, they usually hit those with the bar or the actual clamps that you push the tires with. Same over here. When they load it on and off from the balancer and all that, they end up scratching those, because usually these, a lot of times the guys that are more careful, they'll grab them from the outside in on the lip and they don't damage. But then there's some other guys that they don't pay attention, and they'll use the clamp outward without the plastic on them, and they'll scratch it up. Now I got these babies all cleaned up and ready to go. I want to do a couple more steps before I do the ceramic coat. So I've got my Duplicolor grease and wax remover. That's just a paint prep that I use to basically remove all the residue and degreaser and everything else I've used to clean it. So it gets a nice clean paint surface, removes all the waxes and oils on the face of the wheels and on any surface you spray it on. And then I'm going to hit it after that with some isopropyl alcohol. Got these babies nice and clean with that waxing grease remover, then went over it with that alcohol. So now the surface is nice and clean. On some of these, when you rub it across, it's so clean that it just squeaks. And this is probably as clean as it's ever gonna get, other than being brand new, just because you can't really polish these or do, you know, real compounding on them just because of all the intricacies. But this is good enough for wheels and to ceramic coat. So we'll go ahead and ceramic coat now. So what we're going to use today is this Armorshield 9. If you guys watched some of my other videos where I did this on the car, it's a pretty straightforward process. You want to check those videos out. But basically it comes with a little block, a microfiber application pad, and then the bottle. And a little bit goes a long way with this stuff. You just take the cap off, pop the cover, and then just put maybe like 5 or 6 dabs on here. Get it a little bit wet, and then you start applying it on your surfaces. The thing with wheels is, with it being so intricate and different with the curves and everything in here, you got to be able to kind of get as much of the surface area as you can. The key thing is coverage on this stuff. Is not how thick you put it on, it's how good your coverage is. So we put it on here for 2 or 3 minutes and let it dry, and then just wipe it off with the black microfiber that it comes with. Much easier to do on a flat surface. Curved surfaces on here, you just kind of gotta work your way through. So what I'll do is I'll get over as much as the flat surfaces as I can, and then I'll just take it off the buffer, this block, and then just go by hand into all the cracks and crevices. It's probably been more than a minute or two, so I'll just let it dry for another minute and then wipe it off with the microfiber. So now that I've let it dry for a minute or two, I'm gonna just go ahead and start buffing off the excess on here. Get the towel that it comes with, rub all the surfaces that would have had some on there, kind of buff it all out so it's an even coating. And a key to getting this coating good is more coverage than thickness, because it doesn't matter really how much you apply or how thick you apply. Once you buff it off after a minute or two, depending on your ambient temperature outside, you end up buffing off that thickness that you laid on anyways. It's all about getting all the coverage you can so that it leaves a nice thin film and coat on here, and it protects the paint and provides the hydrophobic properties that you want from a ceramic coat. So that's pretty much done. I'm gonna put a coat on the barrel and then move on to the next wheels and all that. Oh yeah, that ceramic coat turned out really nice on here. The point of ceramic coat is that you're not supposed to be able to see it or feel it, but definitely a lot smoother now though after I cleaned up and did all the prep on this. The front wheels are definitely much better quality, seeing as they're 2 years newer than the rear. The rear, I could feel a little bit of the, you could hear it on the sides, a little bit of the oxidation and other builds up, or just the paint or the powder coat that wasn't as good. So you could hear like the sides a little bit orange peely, but other than that, ended up being pretty nice. Even that spot right there where it's a little bit discolored, was able to ceramic coat that and get it back nice and shiny, even though it doesn't really match, but from far away it looks pretty good. That if you're doing this with your wheels that you actually have to drive around, you gotta let it cure for about 48 hours with no exposure to rain or water. So just keep that in mind if you're doing this on the car or with the wheels that you're actually using. I'm holding on these for a while until I wear out my tires on the other ones before I get new tires for these. Thanks for tuning in all the way to the end of this episode on ceramic coating these wheels with that Avalon King Armorshield 9. This stuff is really good stuff. It's very affordable DIY ceramic coat that you can get from avalonking.com. I'll have a link in the description along with a discount code for $25 off a kit. I think they're usually like $70, so it ends up being about 45 bucks shipped. I'll have the discount code down here as well as in the description and the link to so you can order this if you want to do the same thing for your wheels or car. One of these kits should be able to do a full car plus all your plastics and your wheels and calipers or anything else on your car. If you saw one of my other videos where I showed you how to do that, I ended up only using like half the bottle on my IS. So, and then even on the van when I did, I only used like 3/4 of the bottle, so more than enough in the bottle to do your car plus everything else. So check that out if you're interested in that, and if you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to your channel already, subscribe to your channel, follow all my different builds and all the DIY stuff I do around the garage. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.